Good morning. Tamara checking in. I hope everyone who is seeing this video is having a great day. Well, I guess I should say I hope everyone is having a good day, whether you see this video or not. Try to keep the positivity out there for all folks, no matter where we're at in life. So, I wanted to take a minute to talk about Chinese medicine and how I got into school. Was it my choice? Um, was it something I was interested in before it came into my life and things of that nature? So, first of all, when I retired from the Army, officially 1 January 2017, I was on what used to be called terminal leave before my official retirement date, when you have a bunch of leave accumulated right before you retire, so you get to be gone earlier than your official retirement date. But anyways, I was in a really strange period in my life. I As much as I was ready to retire, there was a part of me leading up to that. It was a couple of years leading up to that I feel like I started mourning because I had the feeling that I knew that my time in the military was coming to an end. Um, I loved being a soldier in many ways, and then many ways it was not the most favorite thing in the world, if that makes sense. So, anyways, fast forward to 2017, I was not in the mood to have any responsibilities other than being at home. I wanted to be able to cook. I wanted to get up and get out and do whatever, if that's what I chose to do, or if I wanted to hang out in my PJs into the morning, mid morning, then I could do that. These are things that mentally, physically, spiritually, these were all the places where I was at. Physically, my body was uh, in pretty bad shape. And I think mentally as well. And when I say in bad shape, meaning that um, I had lots of aches and pains that uh, it was hard for me to get out and move and do things that I wanted to do without extreme pain and feeling like my back was going to go out on me or my neck or shoulder was going to go out on me at any minute. And then I would really be stuck, uh, not being able to move. Um, and then I think mentally and spiritually, while I was starting to grow spiritually in a lot of ways, um, mentally I was just taxed from the years in the military, things that I was seeing happening in society. Um, Sometimes I questioned some of the things that I was involved with regarding, combat zones and supporting wars and things of that nature. There's still some conflicting feelings within myself as far as that, because there are things in life that, sometimes there's that, even the Bible verse that talks about there's a time for peace and a time for war. And I understand that Bible was written by men. A lot of people think that it was um, the men who wrote the Bible had were writing it. God was writing it through them. I think that's kind of how it's put. Um, as far as I'm concerned, the way I see it is like any kind of war or any kind of downgrading the other uh, is basically based on greed and power, the need for greed, need for power, and control, wanting to control the masses, so to speak. Um, and there's not a war that hasn't been fought that said that it wasn't, um, everything was about for the grace of God, right? Uh, we win because we are God's children, or we had God's graces. Um, I'm sure that there was potentially some folks in Germany back in the day that thought that what they were doing was uh, was for the greater good, or was for, they were listening to God or whatnot. I don't know. The human experience can be very complex, and so many people can have so many different thoughts and ideas. But that's where I was kind of spiritually to a certain point, but for sure mentally, because I just kind of wanted to check out. I didn't want to really be involved with a whole lot. My wife had gotten involved with dragon boating, and I wanted to experience that and be able to go do races and have fun on the water. Um, just things of that nature. I just wanted to be free, wanted to go and do what I wanted to do. Um, so, anyways, my wife eventually, I did do some part time seasonal work for a tax business who's they have now retired, but it was good for me to kind of have that, I think, just even though I was still really I just felt exhausted all the time. Um, I I did have that, but my wife, she encouraged me to go to the VA and get myself hooked up with they have what was called continuing education. It's something else now, as everything, the change is something, right? Um, so the bottom line up front is I went and saw a counselor, and within 5 or 10, maybe 15 minutes of our conversation, he just automatically started saying the word, you need to check out OCOM. You need to check out OCOM. And I'm like, well, what is this OCOM you're talking about? And he said, the Oregon College of Oriental Medicine. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here I am. I'm still like in that process of, while I'm feeling better about myself, I still like, why in the world do I want to try to attempt to go to this school, a master's program, and try to learn this medicine? Am I smart enough? Will I be able to do it? All of those self doubts that we can get sometimes. So, um, somehow, some way, my friend went with me to the campus, and I fell in love. I was reading about the school and all of the things that you get to learn, and there was just something about it that I felt like the universe drop kicked my butt into the doors of Oregon College of Oriental Medicine, and that is how I got into Chinese medicine. It's the official term was like traditional Chinese medicine is what we were taught. So got to have a lot of classical classes to go mix in with the traditional. Um, but yeah, that's my story, and how I became, um, how I went to school, got into school, and it was a rough road to hoe, but somehow, some way, maybe by the grace of God, right? Um, but I think it was more of, I was able to get a lot of things broken down, um, stripped down, and because you have to learn there's a whole different way of trying to learn, um, and getting through everything. Plus, on top of that, I had the pandemic start in my second year in the winter or spring. Anyways, we had to be sent home, and then all of our classes were on Zoom for a period of time before we were able to come in and do minimal physical classes. Um, that's a whole nother story. Um, that's my story about getting into Chinese medicine, and yeah, I'll be watching this video and seeing if it's something I want to post. If you're seeing it, obviously I decided to post it. Um, I know feel like I ramble sometimes. That's what I've been told, but working on being more precise and um, yeah, keeping my thought process clear and as I share my story. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your Saturday, and I will see you on the next video. Much love and peace and healing chi to everyone.